What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Shadow the Script, episode 7. Are we back? And I think the answer to that question is yes, but we're going to decipher what we mean by that throughout this episode. Just a couple of quick points. A lot of filler topics here as we get closer into the NFL season, which is our primary niche. But we have some exciting topics that we're gathered up with over the last 7 to 10 days. Concerning, the Harrison Butker situation, which has been kind of a big Shadow the Script subject in the sports world. EA Sports NCAA 25 release date coming out soon, or it's already been released, but the game is coming out soon. A lot of cool details in that. I think nostalgia will be legendary for that game. And then, of course, you had a couple of quarterbacks, or a quarterback in particular, Jared Goff, getting a big contract extension in Detroit. Some schedule releases for the NFL. We're going to be covering all of that in this episode. So I'm going to start off by saying we've been kind of out and about. We lost power this past weekend. I don't know if you guys know this, but around the Houston area, we got hit with this massive storm. I about died. I had to run towards towards the safest place I could think of, and I took a hit. I got a scrape down my leg, but I'm alive. But that storm was crazy. We were out of power for like 3 or 4 days, and you were here for most of that as well. You were working when the storm hit.
Yeah, I was in the middle of a deal, and I just look outside, and I was like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "Why is it so dark?" Next thing you know, they're like, "Hey, keep your customer inside." And next thing you know, it's just, bad weather. And then I was driving home. Probably took me about an hour. There's trees. There's like poles. There's like everything on the road. And then it's like, oh, let's just come sit in the dark for the next, 36 hours. But it's all good. Bless. We're okay. Ready to rock and roll.
Yeah. We made due time. When in doubt, just get pissed drunk. But and play golf on the hardwood floors. But yeah, we're alive. So we wanted to record earlier than today, but we got power very late. So back at it. All right, let's start off. I think we should first shadow the script on Harrison Butker. Now, we have 2 ways we can play this. We can either, I don't know, you've seen the video, I'm assuming. We can paraphrase it, or I could play the clip from the Bussin' with the Boys channel, just kind of that short bit, take a listen, and then maybe react to it. Doesn't cover the entire thing. Obviously, it's a graduation speech. For those that don't know who Harrison Butker is, he is the kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs. And so he kind of caused this dilemma.
Just play the clip.
Play the clip.
Because if you paraphrase, there could be some opinionated in there. Let's just get the whole clip, let people hear it, and then we'll give our takes.
I agree. Let's do it here. All right. On the screen. All right. Take a listen. This is Harrison Butker.
It is only in the past few years that I have grown in courage to speak more boldly and directly, because as I mentioned earlier, I have leaned into my vocation as a husband and father, and as a man. To the gentleman here today, part of what plagues our society is this lie that has been told to you that men are not necessary in the home or in our communities. As men, we set the tone of the culture, and when that is absent, disorder, dysfunction, and chaos set in. This absence of men in the home is what plays a large role in the violence we see all around the nation. Other countries do not have nearly the same absentee father rates as we find here in the US, and a correlation could be made in their drastically lower violence rates as well. Be unapologetic in your masculinity, fighting against the cultural emasculation of men. Do hard things. Never settle for what is easy. You might have a talent that you don't necessarily enjoy, but if it glorifies God, maybe you should lean into that over something that you might think suits you better. I speak from experience as an introvert who now finds myself as an amateur public speaker and an entrepreneur, something I never thought I'd be when I received my industrial engineering degree. The road ahead is bright. Things are changing, society is shifting, and people, young and old, are embracing tradition. Not only has it been my vocation that has helped me and those closest to me, but not surprising to many of you, should be my outspoken embrace of the traditional Latin Mass. I've been very vocal in my love and devotion to the TLM and its necessity for our lives. But what I think gets misunderstood is that people who attend the TLM do so out of pride or preference. I can speak to my own experience, but for most people I have come across within these communities, this simply is not true. I do not attend the TLM because I think I am better than others, or for the smells and bells, or even for the love of Latin. I attend the TLM because I believe, just as the God of the Old Testament was pretty particular in how he wanted to be worshiped, the same holds true for us today. It is through the TLM that I encountered order and began to pursue it in my own life.
Okay, so that's the clip that the Bustin' with the Boys posted, which is they caught heat for it because there's a second part where he starts talking about the responsibility for women. But here are my takeaways from what he said in the clip that the Bustin' with the Boys podcast posted. He started off by saying that masculinity is going away and that we have a high absentee father rate in the United States, which is very true, and that we need to be men again, and we need to be bold, be brave, make courageous decisions, and do it all for the glory of God. I don't see nothing wrong with that, first off. And then that second part basically saying, to take charge and just accept responsibility for your actions and go be leaders and stuff. And so I'm just sitting here going, okay, what's wrong with this clip? The badass speech, I like it. And then you got all these, men with vaginas in the comments basically going, hey, Will, you have 2 daughters, Will Compton. You have 2 daughters. You should be ashamed of yourself. How dare you post it? Do you know the second part of this clip where he says the only role for women is et cetera, et cetera? And I can find that clip. But what are your takes, I guess, on that one? Because I just think it's I'm very bold about this topic because I think the masculinity is just going away, like he says, and there are very few left, such as us.
So when it comes to this, brand of people that we call the woke mob, is like we like to call them, or the cancel culture. I just never get why, just because you don't, what makes people, relationships, everything great is that not everybody agrees with each other. Then everyone can talk about different things. Your mind expands.
Yeah.
You're able to learn different things. It's kind of crazy to me how they have this cancel culture kind of deal, where if you don't, the people who speak the loudest, when you don't agree with their opinion, are like, oh, cancel him, get him fired from his job, all for like an opinion of something that, just because you don't agree with it, does that mean you have to go after another person's integrity and be like, they need to lose their job, they don't need this,
right.
Everyone should shit on them? Because you can't talk to me about, having, mental health this, blah 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 blah, but then all you're doing is bashing another man or anyone for their opinion. There's 2 sides of it. I think woke culture is bullshit. I think it's outrageous. It's all these things that just because he says an opinion, no one ever said his opinion was right.
Right.
But for him to be, canceled and everything, I just think that's dumb. Just because someone does not have the same opinion as you, beat it.
The woke mob is very victimizing, very emotionally deranged, and it's like we're going off purely emotions to appeal for my feelings when the facts are right in front of my face, and what he said was actually true. No matter what it would be, again, it's an opinion. It's true for most, or it's true for some, or it's true in only his case or her case. And I think the woke culture just attacks that. Said, what do you mean by that? Like when he says that, what do you mean that? Are you saying that men should be toxic? They twist words and they go, I didn't even say that. So it's very, very freaking frustrating in my opinion. And like I said, I think it's bullshit. I hate it. And then we'll go to the controversial part here where he's talking about women. And then we'll move on to the next subject. But this is why they caught heat, because of this part of the speech. And you're going to have to listen to the language of what we're saying here. And just give me a sec. Share the wrong screen.
It is crazy to me, just the The woke.
It is only in the past few years today. Congratulations on an amazing accomplishment. You should be proud of all that you have achieved to this point in your young lives. I want to speak directly to you briefly because I think it is you, the women, who have had the most diabolical lies told to you. How many of you are sitting here now about to cross this stage and are thinking about all the promotions and titles you are going to get in your career? Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world. I can tell you that my beautiful wife, Isabel, would be the first to say that her life truly started when she began living her vocation as a wife and as a mother. I'm on this stage today and able to be the man I am because I have a wife who leans into her vocation. I'm beyond blessed with the many talents God has given me, but it cannot be overstated that all of my success is made possible because a girl I met in band class back in middle school would convert to the faith, become my wife, and embrace one of the most important titles of all, homemaker. For the ladies,
So I really don't. I fucking don't understand the issue. Am I freaking crazy? From what we just heard, word for word, was women. You've been the diabolically lied to. I guess I think he's just trying to be grammatically, he's trying to present himself in this grammatical hierarchy where he's like, I'm making a speech. I'm going to use big words because that's what I would do. You've been diabolically lied to. So, and people are like outraging over that little sentence there where he's like, what women could be, CEOs too, and women can do. Well, yeah, sure. He's not saying you can't. He's saying that in his experience with his wife, who he loves very much, he got super emotional, started crying on the stage, basically saying, I love my wife because she bonded to her vocation, where she bore children into this world, converted to faith, meaning that she has faith in Jesus and she is saved, and she is a homemaker. When you come home, your wife and kids are your home. They're your home, and it makes it sensational. It makes it worth living. It makes coming back home the best part of your day. And there's a song by Cody Johnson. It's called Made a Home. And he says, I built the house, but you made the home. And that's basically what he's saying. He's saying, I think what most women should look forward to is the ability to be a mother. You don't have to go work. A real man should be going out there and protecting and providing, like we always say on the couch. And a woman should really get to live life free. Do whatever she wants. Obviously, she can. If she wants to work hard, she can go work hard. It's fucking America, for Christ's sake. But I don't think this is controversial at all. I think this is great. I think this is saying, women should take pride in being the most important part of the home, the most important part of the home, nurturing and providing for their children, and creating new life. So,
yeah. So good points. Good points. So there's two kinds of people who are most mad about this. The first one, these are people who saying, oh, the CEOs, women can be CEOs. Let me remind you, most women that are saying that don't even have a job probably for the most part, or they just, they have some very common social worker kind of job, which is nothing wrong with that, but you're not going to become a CEO. Most women like that are complaining probably don't have a job. Number two is going to be the women who can't find a man, and they probably did work very hard, to become like independent and everything, but at the end of the day, it's a lonely road. It's very lonely. Yeah. It's kind of like when
independence.
It's even kind of like when I'm not gonna get too much into this topic, but if you were to oblige to lust, you wake up the next day and you're like, lonely. You're like, why did You're like, why did I just do what I just did?
Right.
So, I think with women, I know a lot of them want to be parents and, they want to have kids because even though there's this little human that comes into the world, it just changes both you and your woman's outlook on, wow, now I'll never be like not worried about another person.
Yeah.
All this stuff. So, it just seems like the people who are most mad, one, they're just on Twitter, and they're a small percentage of people, but because they're on Twitter, they're the loudest, because they're part of the woke cancel mob.
Right.
It's yeah, I mean, I wouldn't there's nothing wrong with what he said. At the end of the day, it is his opinion. It's funny because if you want to look at it from like a left side and a right side, the left, if they don't like your opinion, they're gonna want you canceled, butchered, all this stuff.
RPG to the dome.
People on the right, if they don't like your opinion, they're really just gonna make fun of you. They're just gonna laugh at you and be like, okay, you're uneducated, but they're not gonna go for your integrity of like,
They're gonna let you live.
Yeah. They don't want you to like, because at the end of the day, you have a livelihood. You have to make meats and everything. Not trying to do all that. And then the left, if they don't like what you say, they're like, cancel him, do this, blah 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 blah. There's a big difference.
End his life, ruin his marriage. Take away his credit card, and destroy his home.
And then the NFL, they've had their
put immigrants in his home.
They've had issues with certain things going on. Domestic violence, everything like that. And then the NFL doesn't stand for the. They don't view the same way he does. It's crazy, and that's what happens when the woke mob comes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at Tyreek Hill, for example. I mean, he's made a lot of mothers in the last year. So, I mean, congratulations. I mean, he's on a birthing spree, I guess you could say. Birthing spree. But yeah. So on the podcast, the last point I'll make about this, and we can transition, is from the podcaster's point of view, from their platform. His audience or their audience caters to who they are. What they talk about on that show, what they stand for, busting with the boys. What's your twisted question of the week or whatever? It's for the boys. Hey, what's the best thing to do with the boys? Rank your top 3 beers. They created a platform and an ideology for themselves that fans and audiences are attracted to. But that doesn't mean that your opinions become everyone else's. Like, if you have an opinion, they're following you to hear it. Just like, our few followers are following us for our opinions. But it doesn't mean if one of our audience members goes, hey, Jared, I don't like what you said about the podcast today, I'd go, okay, like,
sorry to hear that.
I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm glad you engaged. I like to hear your honesty. What do you think? And then they're like, okay. Discussion. Be curious, not judgmental, So I think it was ridiculous. I think it was bullshit. And I actually really loved the speech from Harrison Butker, and I was pretty outraged about it not outraged. I was like loud about it on X, being like, what's wrong? Like,
yeah, they're just tripping about basically. They just want something to complain about, and like I said, the 2 people who are most mad at him are going to be women without a job and 2 women who can't find a man. They both kind of go hand in hand. Yeah. I'm not trying to bash you women, but if you're part of the kind of woke mob, like, okay, you just have it coming to you. And if this offends you, then you're probably a part of it. To just go after someone's, integrity and everything, job, family, like, bro, just leave all that. Like, you don't agree, cool, make fun of him, but come on. I'm all about making fun of. I think bullying is a vital part to every ecosystem. Every ecosystem needs bullying. Canceling is just too much.
Bullying makes millionaires. Bullying makes athletes. Bullying makes champions.
Yeah, bullying. It's just it's a vital part of it. It's a vital part of every ecosystem.
Yeah, everybody needs a little bit of picking on. Not too much, but enough to where you're like, God, I am acting like an idiot. I should probably not wear long socks up to my knees or whatever it may be, or maybe I should cut my hair or not have highlights in my hair.
Everyone needs bullying.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that was Shadow the Script with Harrison Butker. Let's transition into NCAA Football 25. This is we and you were talking about this. And we were saying it's basically. Well, I'll let you talk about it, but from my point of view, this game is going to be it's leading up to be something that's amazing. I don't want to say it is going to be because EA and Madden have been going downhill, but Kirk Herbstreit and Kevin Fowler, I think it's Chris Fowler, have been kind of giving sneak peeks about their commentating attributions, which are very, very specific. The amount of stuff they have to do, which I bet it's the same as Madden. And then they got different kind of modes, very high detail, like for example, for customization of players, you've got the sleeves, the turf tapes, the visors per usual, different types of helmet. But now you can customize, over the knees or above the knees for your pants. Different types of sock designs. You can roll up the jerseys so you can show the abs, or roll up the jersey on the back plate, like stuff you've never seen before in the game. But you were talking about what the game was purely going to be. You talked about nostalgia.
Oh yeah. It's going to be complete nostalgia. It's probably going to be the number one game this year, strictly on everyone who grew up. They haven't played this game and.
Scoot up a little bit.
Oh, sorry.
You're out of the picture. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you. It's just like Mike was just sitting there talking. I was like,
yeah. So my bad, guys. So straight nostalgia. It's going to be. Everyone's been waiting for the last. How long has it been? 10 years? Almost 11.
It's been 10 years.
Been 10 years, and then did they even have the old NCAA on Xbox One, or was it on Xbox 360?
No, it might not have became backwards compatible, but it was on the Xbox 360.
Yeah, so I mean, and then kids nowadays, they're not going to know the part of having to put players' jersey, their last name on their jerseys. They have that now because players are getting paid, and everyone's just been waiting up to when are they going to drop the game? It's kind of like back in 2016, 2014 when they were like, J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar are dropping an album. It's coming out, and it never came out. And I thought the same thing was going to happen with NCAA. They're always saying it's coming out, but it's going to be super fun. I think Road to Glory is going to be legendary.
Yeah.
I feel like they might have it to where you could kind of pick your endorsements, which would be kind of a nice,
Pfizer.
Yeah. So basically what you could do is that the Road to Glory, think about how much we liked it back then. There's so much more they can do with the story mode because you can get paid, the transfer portal, everything. There's so much more that you could do to the story.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to, be one of those games where if you don't have it, then you're going to be the only one probably in your friend group, not having it. Because I don't see why every Xbox party you're probably going to join, it's probably going to be, everyone's playing NCAA, Road to Glory. Everyone's like, bro, my running back just ran for 795 yards against Toledo.
Yeah, exactly.
Trying to do that. So it's gonna be fun. I'm gonna get it, and I'm gonna hope that what we're saying comes to life.
Yeah. So I had an idea for the game, and I'm not sure if they're doing this. So we know the NBA 2K does eras. They do the LeBron era, the Jordan era, the whatever era you want to call it before that, but or the Kobe era was another one. I think NCAA should do Heisman eras. So you got the Manziel era. That's 2 years. And there's a lot of good teams during that time. Or just maybe have Heisman teams. But Heisman eras, I think, would be sick. You got Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson, Caleb Williams, Johnny Manziel, Devontae Smith, Kyler Murray, right? And so it's I think that'd be cool. Because those names we missed in those 10 years. And, Reggie Bush, too. He finally got his Heisman Trophy back, which we were going to talk about as well a couple weeks back. But I think that'd be cool. But this game, I'm super I'm anticipating it pretty heavy. I hope they don't screw it up. Madden has become a completely different game. When I got back on it, I was like, what the hell?
But nobody's, gone 10 years without playing Madden. So
right, exactly.
No matter – this game could absolutely be dog shit for the most part, and it's still going to be off nostalgia.
Yeah.
It's kind of like with Fortnite, I don't want to get too much into Fortnite, but basically everyone was like, man, we want the old map back, the original map. And they brought it back, and then everyone realized it was actually the nostalgia of when you were playing the game. Because when you look at the map, when they brought it back, it's like, actually, this kind of map is dog shit. But the nostalgia of the game, that's what it is. So no matter what they do, it's been 10 years since they've dropped the game. So in 10 years, doesn't matter what the hell they put on there. Everyone's going to play it. Everyone's going to love it. Could be the worst game on the fucking planet, but it's going to be the nostalgia that gives you the good reviews, and people are going to want to play it all the time.
Let me ask you this. Well, I know like Call of Duty and stuff, they're basing their shit off nostalgia as well, all of those old maps. But in terms of, you have college football, the game that comes out, and I'm pretty sure I just lost my thought. But it was gonna be a damn good question. Damn it. Yeah, it'll probably come back to me. It's concerning a game.
Call of Duty.
No, it
March
was
Madness.
No, it was like, okay, here we go. So, which one do you think like fans are anticipating most? NCAA 25 or GTA 6? Because both have been waiting for a long fucking time.
GTA 6.
Yeah, you could like GTA 6 will come out and you'll be 85 and dead. And you're like, oh my God, the day after I die, what the hell, God?
Well, GTA. What thing about GTA 6 is because when it comes to these sports games, they really have to make one every single year.
Yeah.
GTA 6 is gonna come out, and you can play that fucking game for probably the next
10 years. Yeah, exactly. It's like Red Dead.
Yeah, exactly. There's the Rockstar. They take a long time because their games are forever. So I think a lot of people are anticipating GTA 6 more, but I think there might be a little bit more. I think GTA is going to be a better game than NCAA, but I think the nostalgia of NCAA is going to make people think it might be better. But as an overall game for game, I would probably say GTA.
Yes, yeah, I would agree. Yeah, so NCAA 2020 or 2025, I believe it's coming out in July 19th. Actually, we'll show the if you're watching on YouTube, you'll be able to see this. But I'm going to share the screen and show you guys the cover athletes. Quentin Ewers, Edwards, and Travis Hunter make the cover. Pretty sick. I'm excited. I hope it's good, man. I really hope it's good. And all the intros too, like to each team, all their unique ones, like A&M, Clemson, Penn State. You name it. So that'll be. I can't wait. Hopefully it's good, dude. NCAA baseball? No.
Yeah, hopefully they don't bring back like the March Madness game. That shit was dog shit.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Let's move on to yes. I didn't mention this at the beginning, but I think I don't want to skip over this because it was a big topic. Andrew Tate, just kidding, Austin Rivers talked about how you can take 30 players right now in the NBA and throw them in the NFL. You cannot take 30 NFL players and put them in the NBA. Your thoughts?
I think both. I think there's really no way to say yes or no, but I do think it would be harder for an NFL player to switch over to NBA because of the size. NBA players are a lot bigger than football players. Height wise, everything. But there's no one can do either. It doesn't really matter. But I think it'd be a lot easier for NBA player to switch over to NFL because a lot of those guys can, like, especially the guards, they can play, cornerback. They could probably play wide receiver. None of them would probably be a quarterback. But yeah, it's just I don't know. It's just definitely one of those things where people just want to talk about it, controversy.
Yeah.
But there's really no. I don't know. I don't think anyone can do it.
Yeah, I think it just depends on the athlete. Like you can look at a guy like Anthony Edwards and go, he can probably play, safety or whatever, linebacker. That the guy that athletic can do that with that amount of hops. Bronny, he's honestly more NFL size than he is NBA size. LeBron always talked about, him playing like tight end for the Cowboys or whatever, and people were like, salivating over the fact that he's a 6'8", 250-pound dude as athletic as him. On a football field, makes sense, right? Well, I think a lot of football players are multi-sport athletes. I think you really kind of have to be a multi-sport athlete to play football, especially at a high level. You see even the white boys be playing basketball. You see Tony Romo hooping. You're like, damn. You see Tony Romo golfing, which is one of the hardest games on the planet to master. He's golfing out there. I remember Myles Garrett and Micah Parsons throwing down these crazy ass dunks. Like, Micah Parsons says he can average 20 in the NBA, which I don't know. But my argument was, can you take any of those players? Can you take football and basketball players and put them on a baseball field? Now, I have a little bit of a bias, but when you step onto the baseball field and you're getting 98 mile an hour, sinker with some tail on it, and you ain't never swung a bat before, or I don't think you can do that. I don't think you can plug play. I think that's an easier argument.
Well, you can do a lot of quarterbacks can be a pitcher. A lot of them do get drafted.
Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, Russell Wilson, Johnny Manziel, Pat Connaughton. He got drafted by the Yankees, and he was on the Bucks. He was a white guy. He played at Notre Dame. He got drafted by the Yankees.
That makes a lot of sense. White guy in Notre Dame.
Yeah, Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray
got drafted ninth overall. How do you go? That's crazy to go ninth overall in baseball, first overall in the NFL, one being the quarterback, win a Heisman. He won a Heisman, right?
Yes.
And you're fucking 5'10", 5'11". Like he's I think pound for pound, he might be probably one of the best athletes ever. If you really want to go pound for pound, how big he is. He's not like, he doesn't overpower you or anything, and he doesn't have the big size, but he's ninth overall, first overall, Heisman, 4 state champion. Like, I mean, he might be the greatest.
He didn't lose a game in high school.
Yeah,
his stories are crazy. I was told once from a guy who played in a similar high school district as him that for baseball one time, the dude just didn't show up to the game. And he showed up in the 3rd or 4th inning. Didn't ride on the bus or anything. Dude shows up basically in his slippers, throws on his cleats, and they're like, it's kind of like a spoiled thing. It's like, go ahead, we have to play him. He's like the coach's kid. He's that good. He can kind of do whatever he wants. They throw him in there in their 4th inning for his first plate appearance, first or second pitch, just fucking 400 feet plus, and he's trotting over the field or whatever. I'm like, okay, I get it. He's got that aura about him where it's like, I really don't give a shit. I'll play Call of Duty and be a part phase and win 9 or 10 football games and then call it a day.
Yeah, he's but I think NFL players, I think they'll have. I think NBA players will have a better chance of playing NFL than vice versa. But I don't think that most of them can do either one.
I just think with NBA, you have such a small pool. I get you got the G League and the Euro League, but a lot of them are 6'5" plus.
Yeah, I think the average height's 6'6".
I don't think the athleticism on the basketball court will translate to the football court or football field as necessary. I just don't. I think that you can't put a guy I know the argument is how many can you take, but you're not taking 30 NBA players and plugging them in the NFL. You can take a starting 11 and plug them into the basketball court and they'll win some games. Yes.
Well, you got to think about it like this. Most players that are under 6'6" that make it NBA are super talented. You can't. It's a tall man's game. You have to be tall. You have to be physically, bigger than most people. If you're under 6'6", let's just say you're under 6'3". You have to be
in the NBA or NFL.
In the NBA.
Okay.
If you're under 6'3", you have to be super, super, super talented.
Yeah. Yep.
Because you can't overpower. It's gonna be hard to overpower or even just get the ball off over people who have 7 inches on you, 8. NFL. The thing about it is, you really don't have to be tall. You're considered tall at 6'4".
Right.
Unless you're a lineman.
Yeah,
but
a tackle.
Yeah, because you're physically, you're more physical, you're really tough and everything. How are you gonna be because if you're under 6'3", 6'4" in the NFL, how are you even get the ball off?
That's what I mean. You get a guy Giannis or Wemby or whatever, and you're like, where the hell do you put them? They're 6'11", 7 foot, and they're skinny. You're like, what? Receiver, tight end? Are they all supposed to play tight end?
Where would you put the running backs? A lot of running backs are short. Where would you put them?
Exactly. That's what I mean. You can't. It's a tall man's game.
But
Football is.
But you said that you could take a starting 11 from a football and they would win some games.
Yeah, because you got the nose tackles in there that are 300 50 pounds. You got basically the Grizzly from the Grizzlies, whatever his name was, Randolph. Basically, get like two of those guys and get Aaron Donald and Max Crosby or Carl Urban or one of those big dudes. They're 6'4", 6'5". That's your five.
Have you seen you've seen sports where like when there's a football player on a basketball court.
Yeah,
they all play the same. How are they going to win some NBA games?
They would win some.
Well, you would trip.
I'm telling you, they would win some.
How?
What do you mean how? Their athleticism.
So
you would say, let's say, the average height for a cornerback is probably like 6 foot, 5'11", or whatever. Not too bad. I get it. Those are your point guards. And you got your linebackers. Those guys are, 6 foot to 6'3". Those are your twos, your shooting guards. Then you got your DNs. Those are Micah Parsons, and that's your small forward. And then you got your nose tackles and anybody that's excessively tall, like maybe Richard Sherman, who's 6'4", 6'5", or whatever. And that's or Chris Jones, for fuck's sakes, like put him at the 5. You're taking those guys into the NBA, and I'm telling you, they're winning some games.
Like they're all on one team.
Yeah, I'm taking take your best 11 or whatever. And that's like, I'm not even talking all pro, but you can find just Pro Bowlers in there.
Yeah, but the thing is, you're saying that you're like the NFL side of Austin Rivers right now. Like that's how delusional you sound.
No, I don't sound delusional because I still think the NBA players can transition to NFL. I just don't think it's as many as Austin Rivers thinks.
You're gonna put Chris Jones at the center at the 5 at 6'6".
Yeah, he's like one of the tallest D tackles. I'm thinking defense as well.
Yeah, but you're 6'6". You're gonna put him at post. He's gonna guard all the 7-footers.
Yeah, but who in the NBA weighs as much as him?
How much is he? He weighs 310 pounds.
Exactly.
It beats 300.
I'm thinking
it beats 300 pounds.
That's one guy.
Okay, and then how many people is he shorter than an NBA?
A lot.
The thing is, I think like I said, my argument was I don't think anyone really can do either, and I'm not saying that. You're basically saying that you're discrediting the NBA because you're saying that if you're saying legitimately that you could take 11 people from an NFL team where they have no basketball players, they're all just NFL players. You take them and throw them against actual professional NBA players, and they're going against a real NBA team, and they can win some games. That's crazy. That's delusional. One, they are not going to be able to. Most people can't even dribble a ball. And let's just do it when you have a professional athlete, a professional defender. Actually, let's see if you can actually even get the ball up the court.
But you're assuming the football player can't play basketball
professionally.
Right.
I'm saying professionally. I'm not saying he can't. I'm not saying you can't take those 11 guys and go to the gym down the road or like an outside court. I feel like you're thinking you're being close-minded because you're saying that you're going against a professional basketball team and they're going to win. These dudes,
some games.
So how many games do they win?
Like probably no more than 20, but some games.
I'm about to get off this.
No more than 20,
dude. Next stop.
Okay.
That is delusional. You're telling me they'd win? There's teams that don't even win 20 games right now. These NFL players who don't play basketball are somehow going to go against some NBA players and win more than 20 games? How does that even work?
I said less. No more than.
Okay, so you're saying 20 max.
No more than 20, so no more than 19, basically. Is what I'm saying.
So what I'm saying is that
I can rephrase it and say win a game. Does that sound a little bit better? I probably did sound a little bit delusional saying they can win some games, but maybe they can win a game.
Okay, but that's like you do it once doesn't make a whole validation for an argument.
Right.
It's like they might be able to win one game out of 82 games, 1 in 82.
Well,
it doesn't validate a whole point.
Outside of the whole, like all of that, I would just say the NBA is, I would say it's probably the toughest professional league to be a part of. It's like the 0.1% because the pool is so small. And that's kind of my main argument is you're taking this very, very small pool of athletes that are 6'5" plus, a tall man's league, like you said, and you're plugging them into the NFL where guys with those archetypes can't really be plugged into a position. But they could be athletic enough to play, but I think they're athletic for basketball. But, guys like Anthony Edwards, I can see playing in the NFL. But how many of them are there? It's a small pool. So when Austin Rivers said take 30, I'm going, that's fucking 3 teams, basically. Let's take 5 starting. 30 players is how many? That's six teams in the NBA. 6 starting 5s.
Yeah. But
think about that. That's just like
an
exaggerated number.
Yeah, but the thing.
I'm just saying, bringing it down.
The thing is,
no disrespect.
What I'm saying is that no matter how you try to reword it, you said you take 11 players from the NFL and you're like they win some games. Like let's just like the NFL, yeah, it's gonna be hard for NFL players or NBA going to NFL, of course, it's a big sport. There's too many different positions. You would have to plug them in. Mm-hmm. It's a lot easier to kind of take some players and just throw them on a basketball team because it's you got 1 through 5, and then you got a backup for each position, 10 people, and then you might have an extra 2 extra people. So it is a lot easier to build a team. NFL though, it would probably be a lot easier to plug 30 NBA players onto a team than an actual NFL player or NFL players come make their own team and go win professional basketball. That's where I'm like, that doesn't make any sense one bit.
Mike, the juice give me. I'm like,
it just doesn't make it's just like I don't
disagree. It's our first. That's our first Skip and Shannon debate. I think everyone's been looking forward to that. And
I'm walked up.
God damn, that's just a topic.
Just delusion. I
was about
to walk out. You're delusional.
All right. My bad if I pissed you off on that.
You're just delusional.
All right. Let's cover the NFL schedule and then we can get out of here. Because we're going good on time. We're at just under 50 minutes here. Okay, so Aaron Rodgers opening up Monday Night Football against the 49ers. Tom Brady opening up his first Fox Sports appearance with the Dallas Cowboys versus the Cleveland Browns. In the afternoon segment, did a little diss towards Dak Prescott. But let's for those 2 games, I think those are pretty good openers. I actually kind of had the Cowboys just out the gate losing that game. I feel like the Browns defense is just going to slap our offense in the face. Dallas is known to have slow starts. What do you think? You think Tom Brady's going to be pretty good at what he does for Fox Sports? I think he's a little too cocky. I think he'll do fine, but I think they're going to let him get away with saying things on the mic that maybe others shouldn't. And he screwed over Greg Olsen. I'm not like a big fan of Greg Olsen, but that dude took a 75% pay cut.
Yeah, well, I mean, with Tom Brady, he's going to be fine. He's a funny guy. Yeah. He's corny. He knows what he's talking about. People love Tom Brady more than they used to. That's for sure. And I think when it's kind of going to have the Bromo, not commentate like Bromo, but he's having the Bromo effect where people start to like him. Greg Olsen was he was good. He wasn't my favorite, but respect to him. That sucks that he had to do that. But I think everyone saw it coming though, because I think when Tom Brady was playing, they're already talking about that Fox contract. So I mean,
yeah, that's true. He signed it when he was still in the Bucs.
That's what I'm saying. So he already knew it was coming.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's Greg Olsen. I'm not saying that. It's not that I don't feel bad for him, but they knew it was coming. So
you know what the woke mob would do in this scenario? Let's just say one of them was a female. Greg Olsen or Tom Brady. Bro, they're calling for Brady's job.
Let's just say that a woman took Greg Olsen's job, there'd be no issue.
Yes.
But if Greg Olsen took a woman's job, then there's a fucking issue.
I think the athletics commentators should take Tom Brady's spot.
Yeah. See, the thing is, though, it's not.
If y'all heard her, don't listen. It's approach.
Look. I'm gonna say it like this. Like, look, I'm not saying I do know a lot of women on air and everything. Some of them they do know their sports.
True, yeah.
They just look. It's just there's just people better than you. That's all I'm gonna say. Like they're just.
It's an honest evaluation. Like if you suck, you suck. I never liked Joe Buck.
Yeah, it's like I don't think that you aren't intelligent enough or can't do it. But when it comes to these things, there's someone. Most of the time, there's probably someone better at you at your job.
Yeah.
And then there's nothing against it. And it's like there's a lot more men. There's a lot more pool of men to pick from in a job pool like this.
True.
And so realistically, there's going to be a lot more men better than you, and you might be better than some men. But the thing is, there's still a lot more men to choose from. It's a bigger pool. It's like why you can't have 50% women engineers and 50% men. The infrastructure would collapse.
It's like 85% men.
Yeah, you couldn't even you couldn't even do it if you wanted to. Like that's why like women, it's just like there's a lot of women talk to them. But I'm not saying you guys don't know your sports, but it's like you're probably you might be better than some men, but there's a lot more men to choose from that are they're going to be better.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I mean, it's just it baffles me listening to the athletics. Like I mentioned, I didn't like Joe Buck. The most famous call he ever had that really pissed me off, and I was young, but just looking back, I'm just like, that is terrible. And it was Rangers versus Cardinals, and David Freese hits this magnificent home run, and to send it to Game 7. And he goes, "We will see you tomorrow night." And you're like, dude, like he just forced a Game 7. Like, take it from the NBA guy, Mike Breen. Bang! Like that dude kills it. The CBS crew for college football kills it. Kirk Herbstreit kills it. Romo, like you name it. Like it's just the enthusiasm. There's a certain aura about it, and I think Tom Brady's going to do good with it. I think he does, but I just think with the way the industry is, I think they're going to let him get away with some things because he's the GOAT. So
yeah, and I mean, like
all the power to him.
What's crazy is too is that when it comes to like the women and like the sports world, like commentating is really not their thing. And I'm not I've seen some options like they're not really that good commentating. They don't have the same excitement or anything. What they're really good at though is sideline reporting.
Yeah,
they're good at that.
Very good.
They're good at sideline. They're better than most men at sideline reporting. You're nice to look at. Like you know what you're talking about. Like
or Rutledge.
Yeah. So basically, you guys are I would say better at men than that. Like, but commentating, come
on. But we could do it.
Yeah.
Hey, coach, what do you got to improve on in that first half? I know you're down by 21. What do you guys think went wrong? Well, we fumbled 4 times, and we allowed more points than the other team. All right, thanks. Hey, the third quarter comes around. Hey, by the way, this is what coach said, going into halftime, down 28. He said they got to get some points on the board, get the offense rolling, kind of go up tempo. And it's like, oh, really? Oh, really? Gotcha. But I've always got a kick out of that. But, it is valuable information, and it's cool. It's cool media. Like, you're like, this is football. You got Aaron Andrews on the screen. You're like, this is football. Everybody shut up. Aaron Andrews is on the screen. Carrie Underwood singing the Saturday Night Football or Sunday Night Football fucking theme song. But yeah.
Just imagine if men were taking over women's job for sideline reporting.
Chaos. All right, I'm going to highlight a couple things here, and then we'll wrap things up. I think we did a pretty good job covering the primary bulk of topics. But so the 2024 NFL holiday games coming up. Halloween is going to be the Houston Texans uprising against the New York Jets, the anti-vaxxers, on Amazon Prime. That's on Halloween. And then Thanksgiving, you're going to have the uprising again, zesty Chicago Bears versus the NFC championship losers, Detroit Lions. I don't mean to discredit them, but whatever. That's going to be on Thanksgiving, as well as Dallas Cowboys versus the New York Giants on Fox. Green Bay versus Miami, also on Thanksgiving. And then Black Friday, you get the Chiefs versus the Raiders transitioning into Christmas. Both games are going to be on Netflix. They're AFC games. You're going to have the Baltimore Ravens versus the Houston Texans and the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Pittsburgh Steelers versus Mr. Unlimited. So then that's going to be on Netflix. And by the way, if your Netflix does not allow you to watch on your TV because it has the household thing, then screw you, Netflix, because that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of. My family wants to watch Netflix, but I got to get my own. I'm broke. Why? All right. Well, that basically wraps up all topics over there. We covered some good ground there. We'll be kind of spacing between when our next episode is or isn't. Be trying to keep up with some content out there. The topics are dry currently, but as the NBA gets closer to the finals, we got the Timberwolves and the Mavericks. The Timberwolves, are they winning tonight?
Timberwolves and Mavs they play, and then it's going to be Celtics, Pacers in the East. So whoever wins out of the best players on those teams, someone's getting their first ring. It's either going to be Luka, it's either going to be either going to be Tatum and Jaylen Brown, or it's going to be Tyrese Halliburton. So somebody's getting their first ring.
That's crazy.
The youngins. It's a
The new era.
It is a new era.
The new era. Yeah, that'll be exciting. And then one last shout out to the city of Dallas. Ever since the True Brand hat came out, I mentioned this to you earlier off record. Ever since the True Brand hat came out, which is the one we like to rock during most of our episodes, the Dallas Mavericks reached the Western Conference Finals. The Dallas Stars reached their conference finals. And the Rangers won a World Series last year. Only one that's left is the freaking Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones and Emperor Palpatine. So, shout out to the city of Dallas. You're on a freaking heater right now. Just got to finish strong. Go Stars and go Mavericks. On my end.
Go Astros.
Yeah, go Astros. They're coming back, dude. Be patient. They're coming back.
They won today.
Only 5 games under now.
Yeah, Kyle Tucker hit 2 bombs today.
Go.
He was 0 for 3 with his green shoes, so he switched to orange shoes mid game. Next 2 at bats, he smoked them. They said it was because of the shoes.
No smile on his face either. Just
it was
lazily trotting all over.
He was just
all right, we will see you guys next time. We'll let you know when the next episode is. This was the Side of the Script podcast. I'm your host, Jared May, and I was joined by Hunter Poole.
Hunter Poole.
All right, catch you guys later. Appreciate it.